I was reading an Ask Reddit question about paranormal experiences, and was reminded of something that happened to me as a child. Although this event occurred 2 decades ago, I find it sufficiently creepy to share with all of you. When I was 8 years old, I lived with my father, my stepmom, and 2 stepsisters, aged 7 and 6, in a very large house. My dad and stepmom went away for the weekend and left us with a babysitter. She slept in our parents' bedroom, and us kids had a blanket fort / camp out in the living room. In the middle of the night, I heard a weird sound. Something scraping around on the wood floors in the hall. Our house had no carpet except in the bedrooms. All of the halls and common areas had wood floors. We had 2 dogs at the time, a golden retriever and a chocolate Labrador, so when they ran around, they made a hell of a lot of noise. But this was not one of their familiar sounds. It was too slow and purposeful. Something else trudging around inside my house. I imagined some horrific creature with rotting skin and flimsy little legs lurching up and down the halls of our home, poking its head in and out of rooms, searching for a child to snatch up and whisk away into the night. My stepsisters slept through the noise. I listened for a long time, then finally got the courage to go investigate. I climbed out of the blanket fortress and grabbed the flashlight off the bar counter. I walked around the ground floor of the house, looking for the source of the scraping sound. The ground floor of our house was comprised of 4 long hallways that made a square. The kitchen and the living room were at one end, and at the other, there was that stupid room with all the nice furniture that nobody was ever allowed to sit in. It's a rich people thing from my parents' generation, I guess. As I reached the off-limits living room, I saw something move past the piano at the far side of the room. It moved into the adjacent hallway. The scraping sounds resumed. I hurried over, flashlight in hand, trying not to trip over anything. As I rounded the corner into the hall, I saw our golden retriever Bear walking through the darkness, on his hind legs. You know how sometimes when a dog jumps on you, you grab him by the front paws and kind of help him stand? It looked like someone was doing that with our dog, but there was nobody there. I watched Bear stagger for 4 to 5 steps, his back facing me. When he noticed my light, he fell to all 4s and wagged his tail, then resumed walking like a dog normally walks. He trotted away upstairs to the 2nd floor, like nothing strange was going on. The weirdest thing was, when I was laying in the blanket fortress earlier, I listened to that scraping sound for a good 5 to 10 minutes before deciding to investigate. The dog was walking around in the dark for that long, on his hind legs, in slow circles around the house. To this day, I have never figured out why. He never did it before, and never did it again after that night. But he apparently freaked out my babysitter too. The next morning, she told me that he pushed open the door to my parents' bedroom, went over to the bed, and started making vocalizations that sounded like he was trying to mimic human speech. He apparently did this for several minutes before she locked him out of the room. And she looked pretty rattled the next day when we talked. It's probably not a coincidence that as an adult, I'm a cat person.